Hey babes,
I'm Madeline.
and I'm Deja.
And welcome back to the Elegance Exchange. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about the elegance of surviving Thanksgiving. More specifically with the family. So this is probably coming out at the perfect time for you guys. Because I think a lot of people struggle with, family events and especially Thanksgiving.
Because that's when, like, everyone is there. And, especially, like, college students, you guys tend to, like, come into town so you haven't seen your family since you left for college. So it's a bunch of catching up and getting to know people.
Yeah, and I'm sure, and I mean, most of the time there's alcohol involved, not necessarily with you, but like with your family members, and so then, they kind of get a little wordy.
A little out of pocket. Most people don't realize what they're saying because everyone's laughing and having a fun time.
So we're going to be talking about a few different things to really just help you, kind of breathe and survive, because we get it. It's hard. It is. So I would say, obviously, steering away from politics, especially because this year was an election year.
It was a very, no matter your political stand, it was a pretty close election. And I think politics is definitely that one thing that, like, everyone has an opinion on, and not everyone's opinion matter. And
people get really upset about politics. And, so it's really important to just steer away from that. And, just if somebody brings it up, be like, oh, well, like, I'm not, oh my gosh, sorry, I tried to call. Be like, oh, that's not my thing. Like, I don't really like talking about that, but I'm really fascinated to hear about your summer vacation, or just find a way
change
to
the topic. Or
exactly,
you don't have to like be like, oh, you're wrong. You can just laugh it off and be like, okay, well, anyways, so
right, agree to disagree.
Exactly,
because at the end of the day, they're not affecting your vote and you're not affecting theirs, so just keep away from it. And sorry,
no, you're fine, go ahead.
I don't even.
Oh, you're good. Politics is like that number one, like, starter argument. So just don't even, like, consider politics in the first place.
Right. And I mean, I think for some families that is hard too, because maybe, you have a very different political view than the rest of your whole entire family. And so sometimes it can feel like, oh, they're ganging up on me, and like, oh my gosh, they're going to corner me about this, and they're going to, and if it's so bad to the point where they're, cornering you, and they're like, oh no, you have to agree with me, just pretend. Just be like, whatever, like, yeah, whatever,
right?
Just get out of that situation.
Exactly.
Just alleviate it. Don't add any tension.
And then,
Yeah, and then, I mean, also, if you tend to get cornered, maybe don't spend your time with the adults quite as much. Maybe go with the kids.
Go to
and
the
watch
kids' table.
The parade, Go watch the Macy's Day Parade.
That being said, stay out the kitchen as well. I know, like, when when it's Thanksgiving, everyone tends to cook in the kitchen. So it's always best to just stay and watch the Macy's Day Parade. I love doing that. I think it's one of the best things to do during the event.
Well, and if you are somebody who likes to cook, okay, and you like being in the kitchen, maybe make it beforehand. Maybe, you're at your house and your family is coming over to your house. So maybe go in the kitchen and do everything you need to do for your portion of the meal before they get there. So then when they get there, you can, get away. You can escape a little bit and make your appearance known, so they can't, gaslight you and be like, oh my gosh, why do you not want to talk to me? But just give yourself enough, space where they aren't cornering you, and you're not having this big conversation that you don't want to talk about, versus spending too much time in there. And because nobody wants that. And I mean,
it's a very uncomfortable situation to be put in. If anything, like, you're just there and you're just trying to, like, spend time with family, and then you're gonna end up just arguing.
And, I think, too, a lot of families will put pressure on you to bring a significant other, or they'll ask you about your dating life, things like that. Thankfully, my family does not do this to me. But I am not somebody who brings anybody to family functions. So I can understand, but you really just, like I said, if they say that to you, you just have to focus on yourself. And you have to be like, oh, well, like, I'm still searching, but, like, we're working on it, or I'm focusing on myself. Like, there's no issue with that. And if they don't understand that, then that's their issue, not yours.
Like, you can set yourself a little boundary. I know families tend to say some out-of-pocket things about you, like those underhanded compliments, and then you kind of just have to, like, laugh it off, be like, ha ha ha, but, like, you don't have to be snarky right back and start an argument. Like, you can just say, oh, well, I've just been doing my own thing, and then you just walk off and steer away from the conversation.
No, literally, laugh about it. Because if they feel like they need to, especially, I feel like for some reason, moms and grandmas and women like to comment on their younger daughters or granddaughters or, nieces.
Like, it has there's no reason for it to.
Yeah, they like to comment on, your body or who you're dating or things like that. If they are commenting on that, that is their own insecurity being reflected in you.
Mm-hmm.
And, you just have to brush it off and walk away from the situation. Don't take it serious.
No, I think there's, like, the most common one is whenever they comment how much you eat. Because Thanksgiving is, like, that time where you just feast and you really enjoy the family. But I think, like, one of the most common underhanded compliments that they give is, like, oh, you eat so much. Like, you're eating a lot today. But, like, that's perfectly fine. Like, you're meant to be feasting on a holiday about food. It's
a day to express that, you are thankful for the fact that you can have, that much food in your life. Because some people can't afford that. Some people can't afford to have this big elaborate Thanksgiving. So why would you not take advantage of that? And why would you not be extremely happy and grateful that, you have all this food in front of you? And it is a day to truly just feast and, be grateful that you can do that.
So I feel like, if anything, it's just important not to take anything personally. Like you said earlier, it's a reflection of their own insecurity.
Right. Laugh it off.
Exactly, that's all you really can do. You just laugh it off and be like, oh, okay, and then go on.
Yeah, and I mean, I know sometimes laughing it off is very hard, but you just have to, like, if they put something like that in your mind about your weight or about who you're dating or anything else, your politics, whatever, I want you to think about something that is good in your life, okay? So if they are like, if they comment about the fact that you're not dating somebody, I want you to say it in your head, maybe not out loud, because then that's just going to add more tension. But in your head, I want you to be like, okay, well, I'm not dating anybody because I haven't found my person yet, and I'm not going to waste time on somebody who does not fulfill what I need. Okay? Or if they are talking about your weight, be like, I am at, a healthy point in my life. I am not starving myself. I am not struggling. And I'm healthy, because that's all that matters.
Right.
Counteract their negative with a positive. Find any way to spin what they are saying about you in a positive light in your head. And you can even say it out loud if you need to. But really just don't let them put that in your head, because the second you start believing that, that's when you go downhill. And you can't do that.
Yeah, and then you also have to remember it's just one day. Like, I know it's a lot. I know it's a lot. Families tend to be super chaotic, but at the end of the day, it is just one day. So
you will survive. I know it doesn't seem like it, but you will.
After all that tension, and once everyone gets it out their system, it'll be fine.
Right. And I mean, and then think about it. You have, a whole month until you have to do this again, or maybe you celebrate with different family members, and so you don't have to quite worry about it. And,
right.
Maybe your family is super nice and they don't give you any of these reasons, and you're like, girls, what are you talking about? Like, when does this come up? But I just think remembering that it is only one day and you are going to survive, and really just take into account that it's not going to last forever. And maybe one day when you're married, or you are off on your own in another city, you will get to make your own Thanksgiving, and you will get to surround yourself with people who truly value you. You will have a Friendsgiving, and it will be with all of your friends, and you don't have to worry. You guys can all binge out together, and you don't have to worry about any of the crap that they say, because they won't do that to you.
And even that being said, like, not all Thanksgiving dinners are, you know, are chaotic and mean. Like, you can have a great Thanksgiving day, and then you can have great memories. And if anything, you have to remember it's also one day. So it's one day you can really spend time with your family. It's one day for you to create new memories and new traditions, and it's just something for you to look back on and look forward to next year if you end up having a good Thanksgiving.
Right, yeah. And I mean, if there's people in your family that you really enjoy being around, and then there's obviously the some that you don't enjoy being around, spend your time with the people that you really enjoy being around, because then you're going to have more memories with them, more positive memories, and 9 times out of 10 they're probably going to stand up for you if, you know, your family members who you don't like say something, or at least they're going to distract you.
Yeah.
So really just, you know, take that into account and really put yourself in a good situation.
Exactly.
At least try. And honestly, worst comes to worst, cough, cough, I'm sick, bring me back a plate, please.
Well, yeah.
If it's really bad and you just know that, like, you're not going to be able to survive, it's okay. You don't have to put yourself in that situation. I would definitely try and go. But
yeah.
Because, you know, 9 times out of 10 it's going to be a little better than what you think it's going to be. But yeah. Anything else you want to add?
Nope, I think that's it.
I know this is a little bit of a shorter episode, but granted, it is the holidays, so I don't think you really want to be spending time listening to a podcast. And yeah, so make sure you follow us on our social media. Pretty much everything is _Elegance Exchange or _exchange, and our YouTube is just the Elegance Exchange. So yeah.
Okay.
All right, bye, babes.
Bye, babes.